Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, readers of all persuasions. It is I, Gayla, and welcome back to Book Uncorking Caffeinated. And as the thumbnail suggests, this is September Reads. Can you imagine we are through September? I'm like, oh my Lord. So to get through this, is not a lot of books tonight, but I am going to have a cocktail. I have my trusty Nantucket Cran. I got this from Martha's Vineyard this summer. I brought some back with me. It is a cranberry vodka soda. So that's what we're drinking tonight. It's a Saturday evening. We're just gonna chill. I'm probably gonna read a little bit. When I read tonight, it's probably with my ears because I have an audiobook that I want to read that I'm kind of actually mentioned in this video, and talk about a little bit of it before I finish it. So let's get a sip so we can get started. So I will be using my iPad. I'm filming on my phone tonight. I don't have enough room on my iPad. So I'm going to use the iPad to talk about the books. And I'll have the books on the screen. So the first book I read was The Due Date by Isha Bree, a part of the Billionaire Baby Romance. And so this was about a couple who got together for a one-night stand. I believe this is the one. Yes, they got together for a one-night stand, didn't see one another after that, and then the young lady started working at the company of the man. I think her name is Erin and his name is Zane, and she began working for him and hadn't seen him going for the interview. He walks in and they're like, oh, what's happening? Comes to find out she's pregnant and she never told him within that time frame. And so you know how this is. They get together. They're not supposed to get together because of company policy, but they are drawn to one another. She tells him she's pregnant, and then he's all in, even if it's just a co-parent with her. But you know that's not how this is gonna work. They wind up being together, and she winds up having this baby. It's very steamy. So if you don't like a lot of steam, you may not want to read this, but I don't think the steam takes away from the storyline. It made it interesting. The next book that I read was Love is a Revolution, which was super good and provocative, and a YA book, which can be used when if you have young people in your life. Is a book that should be read between your young person and yourself, because it talks about being a full-figured girl, being Black, being one to be accepted, lying because you are not accepted because you're not the traditional aesthetic of what society is, and then finding out having people love you is not super the way to go. Is loving yourself, and that's how Love is Truly a Revolution. That was by Renee Watson. The next book I read was The Davenports, which I have a physical copy of. This is also on my 25 for 25, and it started off really good, and then I got to chapter 24 because they're short chapters. As you can see, that's where I stopped, but I had to finish it with my ears because it started off really good, and then it kind of tapered off. It was a little boring in the middle, but it picked up towards the end. And this is about a Black family in the early 1900s being wealthy in a time where there was very little wealth going around for the Black community, based in Chicago. And that's also another reason I wanted to read it, because this last spring I went to Chicago on my spring break and on my little independent bookstore tour, and so I wanted to read this. So it was a little hard to get through, and the second part, I'm looking forward to reading that. I'm a little scared. I might just start off with my ears and not with reading, so I can get into the story and hear all the bells and whistles with reading this book. But it was a good book because it talked about Black wealth in a time when people really don't think about it. And so that's what I appreciate about the story, and the ups and downs, and fighting for what's yours and fighting for what you want to keep. And it also was a love story involved with the haves and have-nots, and who should be with whom, and why you shouldn't be with certain people, and being socially accepted in society. So it had a lot of different themes in it, but the major one is talking about wealth in Black families in the 1900s in Chicago. And then the next book I read was Impromptu Date. This was by Kay Shanae, and I have all the books on the screen. This one was about this one young lady, had all the things, right? Wealthy, has her own business, doing well in life, but she doesn't have like the love or the man that everyone thinks she should. And her friends suggest that she use an escort, like a high-end escort service. And she does. She meets a man that she wants to be her love interest on this family trip that happens every year with her family, because everybody's like, oh, you never bring anybody, you never bring anybody. That same old story. So that hit home for me. But so she hires this escort. Unfortunately, he can't make it because he has something going on in his family. So the owner, Qasim, actually shows up to tell her to deliver the news. And she's like, look, I don't have that much time. Would you actually be the one who participate in this fake dating trope to fool my family? And so they go on this trip with her family. They hit it off, if you know what I mean. They hit it off. And that part was a little surprising to me, because they literally had just met like a couple of days before, and then they was all into it when they was on the trip. But the way he treated her wasn't just like a piece of meat. He really enjoyed being with her physically and mentally. And so when they got back, the challenge was whether or not they liked one another, continue the relationship, because his thing was to never date a client. And she essentially was a client. But as the story goes, Impromptu Date turns into more than just a date. So they do wind up being together, which was cool. The next book I read was A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow. I don't remember much about this. I just remember young people falling in love and using recipes and the tea shop that one of the ladies owned as their way of maneuvering through this relationship. The one thing that comes to mind about this book is like Water for Chocolate, which each chapter talks about a recipe and how that recipe kind of bring families and lovers together. So that's what I liken it to. The next book was Don Cancelli in the Cancelli series by Jacquel J. Baby, if you think Menace was a menace, this Don Cancelli, his brother, was a mess. And he was forever the bachelor. He was like, not me, ma'am, until ma'am entered his life. Another spicy book, but I'm super excited about the continuation of this. I think the next book is going to be, so it was Menace, Don, and I think the next one might be about the sister. So I'm invested, super invested. I'm so happy about it. Jacquel J has quickly become an auto buy for me, and also one of my favorite romance or urban romance, get your life together author. And yes, I'm looking forward to the rest of the catalog, her catalog in general, and just trying to do her back catalog. And then I read Not So Perfect Strangers by L.S. Stratton. This was a Black author doing a thriller, which was really good. The twist in this, I really didn't see the twist coming. Not into the bitter end, because I thought it was going to go another way and it didn't. But it started off with a house burning and the person saying, I did it. And so essentially these two women come together. One coerced the other one. She planted a seed to get rid of their husbands, to murder their husbands. So I murder yours, you'll murder mine. One did the job. The other one was like, I'm not really about that life. But in the end, winds up taking the life of the lady that killed her husband and her husband, she thought. So yes, this is a great thriller. I think this is a great read. And I'm happy it was a Black author too. That made it all the better. And I am currently reading, let me see what I have on, because I'm using my laptop. Make a Scene by Mimi Grace. So these covers look real like, oh, we're so cute, and it's nice. This book was steamy. Good steamy, but steamy nevertheless. So in this book, the main female character, X, is marrying her cousin. And everybody's like, are you going to the wedding? And she was like, of course I'm going to the wedding. She wanted to save face, but she also wanted to have a date. And so she winds up fake dating So she works in kind of like the strip mall. She's a baker. He's a fitness instructor. They always, you know, bump heads when it comes to like parking spaces. And so she was like, I'll give you more parking spaces if you be my date for this wedding. So they go through this whole fake dating thing, but throughout the fake dating, they really fall one another. This is a steamy book. Don't let this cover fool you. That book was steamy. So I'm looking forward. I think it's 3 books in the series. So I'm looking forward to reading the other books in the series. And I know they are not going to be just so whimsy-pamsy. Let's bake some cookies and drink some milk. They are really baking some cookies and drinking some milk, to say the least. So those are the 8 books that I read in September. Kind of a modge podge of books. I had no rhyme or reason. They just happened to be on my TBR that I've created, like kind of a full TBR / my 5 for 25 TBR. But I'm also a mood reader, so that's why I never set specific books I'm going to read during the month. I just have like a overarching TBR, like seasonally or annually, and I pick from that. A lot of books I've read, it's just because I read them. No rhyme or reason, whether they were on a list or not. So I'm really a mood reader. So that's why this month's books are all over the place. I have a thriller, I have romance, I have YA, I have all the things, because that's the reader I am. So anywho, that's my September reads. Oh, I almost forgot. I wanted to show you the books that I picked up today. Literally today. So anytime I go into this particular neighborhood, I go to the Dollar Tree, because the Dollar Tree is always there. So I picked up 4 books, actually 5, and I'll tell you what the 5th one is in a minute. But this one is called Sister Stardust. And the reason why I show you a picture of the Dollar Tree, because it was really messy today. Like, I had to fish for these books. But Sister Stardust, and it says jet-setting, glamorous, intoxicating, and a tad bit dangerous. And that was by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this is about 1960s Marrakesh, and what's going on in that world, and who wants to be glamour and who wants to be a star and all the things. The next book I picked up was Shadows of Berlin. And let's see why I picked this up. You'll know as soon as you hear it. A captivating novel of a Berlin girl on the run from the guilt of her past and the boy from Brooklyn who loves her. In 1955, in New York City, the city of instant coffee, bagels at Cat's Deli, and ultra modern TV. You know me, New York, coffee, wine, Brooklyn. I'm going to pick it up. And it's funny because this book, I picked it up, picked it up, and then I picked it up the last time I read the jacket, and I was like, oh, I got to actually buy this. Then I picked up Addicted After All by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is from a series. I think there's like 7 books in this series, and I have the first one, Addicted to Love. And I was like, this book ain't cheap. And it was $1.25 in the Dollar Tree, so I picked that up. And the last book I picked up was A Secret About a Secret. And so when I read the jacket, I was like, I had to pick this up for my mother. So anyone that knows my mother, she has a wild sense of humor, and she thinks she's a writer and she can figure out anything. So it says, an eerie, hypnotic mystery about a murder at a secluded research facility and the secrets it exposes. Let me go back and say that again. An eerie, hypnotic mystery about a murder at a secluded research facility and the secrets it exposes. But this is the line that made me pick this up from my mother. When the body of the organization's most gifted young scientist is discovered in a walked-in refrigerator. If you know my mama, you know my mother. I said, oh, I hope there's another book. So Mommy and I are going to do a buddy read of A Secret About a Secret, and so we were going to wait till the weekend to read it, but she was like, I might start it this week. Whenever we finish it, that'll be the next video while my mom and I are talking about this book, whether, you know, how much of it we liked, how much of it she figured out, because, you know, she thinks she's a mystery thriller writer anyway. But this is going to be fun to do this buddy read with my mom. So that was my month and my day. Well, my month in general, because the day was a part of the month, right? So yeah, I picked up these books from the Dollar Tree. I have my reads for the month. So let's enter this fall with some new reads. Not necessarily new authors, but doing all the things. So you do all the things. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces.